Spock's surprising fourth love interest in Star Trek. Strange New Worlds. Star Trek. Strange New Worlds has made a habit of taking what fans think they know about iconic characters and gently, but decisively, turning it on its head. No character embodies that creative re-examination more than Spock. Traditionally viewed as emotionally distant, romantically restrained, and bound by Vulcan logic, Strange New Worlds has instead leaned into Spock's internal contradictions. Nowhere is that more evident than in the reveal of his surprising fourth major love interest, one that deepens his arc in ways Star Trek has never attempted before. To understand why this relationship matters, it helps to look at Spock's romantic history. Canonically, Spock's first and most famous love is Turing, his Vulcan betrothed, whose relationship with him is rooted more in cultural obligation than emotional intimacy. Later, the original series introduced Nurse Christine Chapel as a human who harbored deep feelings for Spock, feelings he rarely acknowledged openly. In alternate timelines and films, characters like Uhura have been positioned as romantic partners, further complicating Spock's emotional landscape. Strange New Worlds, however, adds a fourth love interest who feels radically different, not just because of who they are, but because of what they represent for Spock at this point in his life. Rather than being defined by Vulcan tradition or human longing alone, this relationship exists in the space between logic and emotion, the very tension that defines Spock himself. Unlike Turing, this love interest doesn't demand cultural conformity. Unlike Chapel, they don't idealize Spock as an unattainable mystery. Instead, they see him clearly, conflicted, evolving, and uncertain. That recognition becomes the foundation of something unexpectedly intimate. What makes this romance surprising isn't just its existence, but its timing. Strange New Worlds places Spock at a crossroads, still early in his Starfleet career, still wrestling with his human side, and not yet the composed science officer fans know from the original series. Introducing a new love interest here reframes Spock's eventual emotional restraint not as innate, but as learned. Love, in this context, becomes something he experiments with and ultimately steps away from. The relationship also allows Strange New Worlds to explore vulnerability in a way previous Star Trek series rarely did with Spock. Moments of quiet conversation, shared uncertainty, and unguarded honesty replace grand romantic gestures. This love interest doesn't challenge Spock's logic with passion alone. They challenge it with understanding. That subtlety is what makes the romance resonate. Crucially, this relationship doesn't overwrite canon, it enriches it. Knowing that Spock once allowed himself this kind of connection makes his later emotional reserve more poignant. His distance in the original series no longer feels like a default setting. It feels like a choice shaped by experience. Love didn't fail him, it taught him caution. From a storytelling perspective, this fourth love interest underscores Strange New